The Bad Batch.
The penultimate episode.
We're getting there.
One left.
It was an intense episode.
Yeah.
It was all very on edge, like, shit, is this all about to go wrong? What's about to happen? It wasn't, not a lot happened, but it got your heart rate up a little bit just because it was so
There was
on
tension.
edge.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like you're aware that the characters are all in a very secure place they shouldn't be.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're just sat there like, this is going to go wrong, and I don't know how yet, and I don't know who's going to get hurt and what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's that, because we know they're trying to break out, and we know Omega is trying to figure out, and it's like, because of how obviously they're clever in the way that they do it, at no point do they show when she gets back.
Exactly.
And it's like, they just keep showing that she's not there, which obviously we know well enough with these things. That often means that's happening at the same time as the earlier stuff. It's just obviously and it's like that tension of they're trying to slow down this doctor, that it's not working. We think Omega's still up in the tunnels. Like this tension of, oh shit, they're going to get caught. This is all going to go wrong. Meanwhile, we know everything else that's happening on the outside. It's just like you say, this tension was building up, and it's like, oh, you're on the edge of, oh shit, it's going to go wrong. It's like I said, though, this episode is definitely multiple paths unknowingly all working and they're all going to kind of clash at the same time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you had
Emery's definitely going to end up on our side.
100%.
Absolutely.
The fact that I hadn't really considered how Echo would wouldn't rejoin with the others. So the fact that you had the Bad Batch, like Hunter, Wrecker, Crosshair, and I mean Rampart, but like that group, then you had Echo having to deal with getting off the ship, putting on the armor, and then the fake droid hand, which I loved, bumping into Emery and those paths connecting. And then you've got Omega also trying to break out. There's 3 pathways now going on.
But the thing is, for this rescue to be successful, it has to be done quietly.
It's not.
Which means Omega has to get the kids out of the vault.
Yeah.
And then trust the Batch to get them from the edge of the vault back to a ship. Which means it is absolutely going to have to be, in this final episode, Emery and Echo trying to work out where they can meet, and Crosshair and that trying to get in safely, and then Omega trying to get herself and the kids out of the vault so that they can meet up with them and then go. Because Omega knows they're there, which is good. But
yeah,
they don't know that Omega knows they're there.
No. And also, Echo has bumped into Emery, so now he knows, okay, she's told him where Omega is, but then meanwhile you've got Wrecker, Hunter, and Crosshair have no fucking clue what's going on inside. They're having to deal with Rampart, who I think, now that fucking Rampart ran off, like the classic
idiot
person in political power, has actually no backbone, runs off scared at the first sign of danger, gets himself caught, he's 100% going to sell them out.
Oh, absolutely. I said this
last
week. He is absolutely going to sell them out. Because, we got a bit of foreshadowing when he said to Crosshair, me and you are the same, we only care about ourselves.
Yeah.
He's been caught by the Empire.
He's going to think...
He's just going to fold instantly.
He's going to think, a way for me to maybe keep this and get back into this position of power I'm enjoying again is I just
not go back to prison.
Yeah, I just play their side and I give them up. Which all it's going to do, I think what's going to end up happening is he's going to sell them out. So obviously they're going to be like, the Bad Batch, they're going to radio it in. Hemlock's going to put the whole, he's already putting the base on lockdown, but he's going to lock it down. To which I think that's where you're going to get this chaotic point of Echo and Emery trying to figure out, shit, how do we get Omega out while there's a lockdown. And I think Wrecker and them having to try and break in, there's gonna be some weird chaos. Obviously, the finale is called Cavalry Has Arrived, which I think is going to be a play on the fact that they're here to get Omega out. I also think there's going to be Echo will have contacted Rex. I think when he was on the ship on the terminal just before he got off the ship, he was clearly trying to get like coordinates. I think he's gonna like somehow contact Rex, and that's going to be the winning factor. Winning, we don't know what's going to happen. The beast, the Zillow beast or whatever it was called, I forget.
Yeah.
I'd completely forgot that was there. I think that's going to play a part. Obviously, Echo thinks that's some way to get out.
Omega. Yeah, Omega's seen that and she has an idea.
Force.
Imagine.
I wouldn't. Well, here's the thing. If it's not her, she's in a room with 4 of her Force users.
You also know how Filoni feels about kids having Force connections with animals.
Yep.
Yeah, that's his thing. He loves it.
So
that's the way, to be fair.
It could be like a collective. The group of them managed to like Force connect together with this creature.
I have a hot take for you.
Okay.
Bad Batch is ending. We know this is the last season.
Yep.
There is definitely another animated show coming to replace it.
I
have one big reason as to why.
Okay.
In the early stages of this season, there was a lot of emphasis put on like these shadow troopers who were like clones who'd been turned and whatever. Nothing was ever really explained, and they've not been used since. Why was there so much emphasis put on what was being done to them and what they were and how they weren't quite ready yet?
That could be a that could be a spanner in the works for all of this that's happening.
Oh, absolutely, it could be.
And I still believe that Tech could be like, imagine one of them's revealed to be Tech in front of them while they're trying to break out. That's just going to completely fuck up the plan.
Crush them, yeah.
Also, you could be right. I mean, I've said I wouldn't be surprised if I'd like to see one last show in this gap from the end of Bad Batch to obviously to Rogue, not Rogue One, to Rebels, where we get to see like it felt like we could easily go into like a Rex arc of like what do Rex and Echo get up to? How does he then become with Wolf? And like and maybe like playing off what you're saying with these, they've been trying to hunt these assassins and figure out about them. What if that show then it goes into like they are hunting these or trying to find out about these assassins, and that's like their storyline is like dealing with these assassin clones.
Because the 3 seasons of Bad Batch, based on my best guesstimate, has taken about 4 years from the beginning of the Empire. I reckon we're about 4 years into the Empire here.
Right.
If not a little bit more.
Possibly something like that.
The Rebels takes up about the last 5 years before the original trilogy. The Empire was only around for 19. That leaves 9 years in the middle. You can shave off 3 or 4 years either side of that for like nothing really major happened there, which leaves you about 3 years in the middle, which is 3 seasons of a show.
Yeah, you could just. I genuinely would love to. Like, I think the way to round out this, and also on the fact of from the characters we had in the animated Clone series, I think a great way to round it out would be to end it with like a Rex series. Everyone loves him. We know where he ends up with Gregor and Wolf. It'd be cool to see like what was his final like. Maybe it's getting rid of these assassin clones, freeing the last of the clones that he can, and it's like that storyline of him like realizing his job's done. I can't fight the Empire on my own. I'm the last. Like as a captain, I've got my boys out. I can like, and we get to see his end to his story.
Yeah.
I think that could be a
Yeah,
really cool one.
exactly. A couple of seasons of a show with Rex dealing with whatever his last hurdle is,
Mm,
leaving him where we then pick him up in Rebels is a perfect way. The entire animated kind of timeline sits there
mm.
nicely. We know what happens for everyone throughout. We're good. I completely agree. I think that makes a boatload of sense.
Can we also point out that this week, Wrecker was once again almost dead?
Yeah, I'm really worried about Rekka.
Yeah. Ever since you first said it, I was like, you have a slight good point. Then the last 2 weeks, or like the last couple of weeks since then, there's been twice where he's almost died. And I'm just
Who would
like,
have thought that someone who's done 112 episodes breaking down film and TV shows would notice like thematic tools that are used to
dude,
sometimes
I'm too
give
busy
you an
looking at
idea of
pretty
what's going on?
visuals to pay
Yeah,
attention
but
to thematics.
I'm acoustic as fuck, so I notice patterns.
um,
Um,
yeah,
it could be a red herring though. It could be we'll keep putting Wrecker in danger so that when
someone else
someone else dies, your brain is instantly more surprised because that person seems safe all year, and we've been sat here worrying about Wrecker.
I still think Crosshair sacrifices himself. I think as his feel towards being like, this is my final redemption, to be like, look, I was always like, I am one of you. I'm sorry for like betraying you. He is going to sacrifice himself for some reason, whether it's to save Wrecker or to save Hunter. And then I still think Omega's in danger as well.
What I need is if anyone who gets out alive, I need someone to give me a canon answer to what the rest of their life was like. I need to know. Because I've sat here for weeks and I've gone, I refuse to believe that Omega survives all of this, and then lives on the outer rim and doesn't get involved with the rebellion. No one will ever be able to convince me that Omega goes and sits on a fucking farm
No,
somewhere,
I don't. Yeah,
sees the rebellion taking place, and is like, "Nah, I've done my bit." Not a chance.
I'm going to put this out there now in the hopes that maybe I'm right and we can be like, haha. I think the base is compromised. It gets put into self-destruct mode. They're scrambling to escape with Rex. Assassin clone appears. It's Tech. Omega's like, oh my god, Tech. Runs to him. Tech either captures Omega or some, like, whatever. Crosshair is like, fuck, I'm the only one who can fight this guy. Or like, they used me to make these, like, he, for whatever his last redemption arc, he fights Tech, dies, but then the base gets blown up with Tech and Omega inside. So the three of them, I think that might be, well, Hunter and Wrecker and Rex, like Rex drags them two away because he's like, we've got to get out.
It'll definitely be interesting to see how they decide to end all of this.
The facility's going up in flames.
I am, however, as I have been for a lot of Disney Plus shows over the years, concerned that they've left themselves a lot to wrap up in one episode, especially when we know this is the last season.
Yeah, I just think this last episode, this last episode is going to be, the facility is going to get destroyed. I think Omega dies. It's who dies with her.